All right, good evening, folks. This is Jay from Cold Nights, and this is another episode of the Cold Takes Gaming Podcast. Tonight we have a very special guest, Joe from J2daOE Gaming. How are we doing tonight, Joe?
Doing good, man. Doing good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. So why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about your channel and yourself?
Well, my name is Joe, and I live in the DC area on the East Coast. And I started the channel about four or 5 weeks ago, just out of a little bit out of boredom. And I know we're going to talk about that too. But yeah, and I work at a church and I work kind of in the media department. And so I wanted to learn a little bit more about videos and stuff. And so I'm like, hey, I want to try this and see how I can edit stuff. And yeah, I got a kid. He's 21 months, 21 months. Yeah, that sounds right. His birthday's in March. I gotta stop. We're gonna stop counting in months very soon, so that's good. But yeah, we got a kid. Just one kid, and we were married for 13 years. It's been a great ride. It's been a really great ride.
Good deal. Yeah, and we'll get to that a little later in the podcast. Like, it's kind of unique being a gamer parent, and I think you're going to have a lot of fun with that, like, later on. My son's 12 now, and
Nice.
like, we really had a good time, throughout gaming. Real quick, we'll go to the next question, and that is what your goals are for your collection. So you've definitely had some awesome pickup videos and little insights into your collection on your channel. So what are your goals?
Oh man, right now, I think my goals are at any games that I'm kind of interested. Honestly, I have a let me see if I can show this to you on my phone. I have like a video games want list of all the games that I kind of just want to own. And that's kind of this helps me stay focused. It has the console and all of that. And I only really want to buy, I don't have that, it's a big basement, but it's not that big of shelf space. So I really only want to buy things that I want to play. And so I look up a lot of games that I'm like, oh, I'm interested in that, and I'll try that. And right now, I'm really focused on collecting on Switch, just because that's one of my favorite systems right now, and it's perfect for my dad on the go lifestyle right now. But any other game, so long as I can get them kind of in a good price, basically below retail, like I'll take. And so long as I'm interested in it, I'll keep. I'm not interested in like getting full collections of something, at least not yet. I don't know if my son wants to do that with me. I'm like, yeah, sure, something son and dad could do. But right now, I'm only really interested in things that I'm interested in playing and things that I see me and my kid Juan would play in the future. So
Yeah.
yeah, my goals this year actually it's a little different because my goal this year is to work on my backlog. So like
Nice.
2 months ago, I also have a notebook of all the games that I intend to keep. 2 months ago, I had like 20 pickups. Last month, I had like 15. This month, I only have four. I straight up only have like three or four, and that's because there's Fire Emblem and a few games that I got um, for cheap that I'm like, oh, that's on my list and that's cheap. So I'll grab it now because I don't think I could get it for that price in the future. So my goal this year is kind of playing through my backlog a little bit and try. We'll see. We'll see how that goal keeps as the year goes on.
Yeah, that's a smart way to do it. Like, curating your collection towards specifically the things you're interested in playing is great because, me, I have tried to do complete collections, and literally my house has become like a game horde, and it can be tough to find things, and it can be frustrating sometimes. Like, we actually have storage units at this point for like collectibles and games. So there could be something I want to play, and I'm like, oh wait, that's at the storage unit. I'm not playing that. Like, so it's good
Have
that
you accidentally bought a game that you already had?
only a couple of times, but normally I'm really good on it because I use Game Eye. Have you ever heard of Game Eye?
Yeah, I use Game Eye too, but then sometimes I don't update it, and because I'm an idiot, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, there it is.
Yeah, that's a problem too, because I'll have like a big stack going that I need to actually like put into Game Eye, and I'll forget about it. And then I'm like, I need to clean up, and then I put it into the bookcases, and then it's lost. And I'm like,
Right.
oh man, like I would have to cross-reference this to figure out what I'm supposed to be looking at here. So that's definitely a smart
Yeah.
way to do it, man. Like not getting out of control. Because some people will literally buy everything. I know some people that'll buy like every new like release for like Switch, or they'll buy
Yeah.
everything from like limited run, and like that gets overwhelming. So good deal on that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, more power to you if you got the space and the change. But I mean, I I only have so much time in the day, and I feel like I would be wasting it if I like. For me, every game deserves to be played. I'm not really a sealed collector type thing, and so I'm like, man, I got to play it. And yeah, if I just don't have time, there's no point in me in getting it.
Absolutely. I was thinking about that the other day. Like when you buy a new release title and you don't plan to play it, you're just being silly. Because if you're not going to get to play that for 6 months, well, guess what? In 6 months, that's $30 at GameStop.
That's right.
I'm
That's
guilty
right.
of that so often, and it will sit here sealed, and people will see the collection and they're like, "Oh, do you collect sealed games?" I'm like, "No, I just haven't opened that one yet."
Yes. Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
intentional.
Yeah. I think I got 3 or 4 sealed Switch games unintentionally just because it kept getting pulled back. Hopefully, I can open it up this year and
Right,
just play through it. So
for
yeah.
sure. So the next topic I wanted to get into is gaming as a dad. So how old did you say your child was?
He's 21 months.
Oh, nice, nice. So it's going to be at that time pretty soon where like he can start, handling a controller a little bit and might actually start to enjoy that. You looking forward to that?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. My biggest fear is that he's like, I hate video games, Dad. I'm like, no, this was gonna be yours someday.
Thankfully, I
And
don't think that happens very often.
yeah, thankfully not. And I'm already so he's playing. So I have the I don't know if you've heard of the Living Tree NES stuff. It's
Yep,
like this unlicensed Bible games, and there's
yep.
no
Bible
timing. You hardly
buffet and
die. Yeah, yeah. And so my Juan loves that right now. He's just pressing jump button, and all it does is jump, and he's loving it right now. So I'm like, I gotta get him while he's early. I gotta get him. And we've been going through Wild Gunman together, and by we I mean he's holding the controller, and I'm pressing the gun with him, and so
nice.
it's been fun. And so I am looking forward to hopefully like just starting playing those co-op games and stuff with them, those puzzle games, and yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that.
Good deal. So can you think of specifically any games that you have on like Switch or PS4 that you'd like to introduce them to in the future?
Oh man, yeah. So PS4 and PS4 and the Switch, any of the Lego games. I have Lego Harry Potter, Lego the Skywalker Saga, Lego Avengers on PS4. That I want to introduce them to. I want to introduce them to Captain Toad. I have it both on Wii U and Switch. I know, like, I already broke that rule. Like, oh, if I don't play it, like,
The
I try not to have 2 copies of something. But I'm like, they have different stages, so we'll see.
Wii
And
U is such a great console for children.
yes,
We had
so
such a good time
underrated.
with that. He adored. I think his favorite game ever. Like he's 12 now. He's playing like Grand Theft Auto. Like he loved Lego City Undercover, and I would play
Mm.
that with him so much. And then when there was like the like fancier graphics version that came out on the PS4 when it was finally released outside of the Nintendo systems, we got that. And he was probably like 9 when that came out. And he still loved it. Like the Lego games are
Oh
perfect.
man. Oh, dude, that's encouraging. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm like asking my friends who have like younger kids, and I'm like, when did you just hand them a controller? They're like, someday they'll just take it from you. And I'm like, all right. Hopefully they can like he'll be able to appreciate like the older games, like Wild Gunman and even the Wii. And like so sometimes I keep I have a PS1, yeah, Tonka truck game.
Nice.
I'm not gonna play it, but I'm like maybe he will. So, I have a few like kid shovelware games because I think maybe he'll love it, and if not, then I'll just give it to Goodwill or maybe it'll cost something. So we'll see.
Nice.
But yeah, so sometimes I'm like, oh, I'll keep this Tonka truck game, or I'll keep this like Cars game or something like that. It's, I've never heard of it, but maybe he'll like it someday. And that's when when my wife got pregnant, that's when I started to like collect for like things that I would normally either trade in or sell.
Hmm.
I'm like, oh, maybe I'll like this. So hopefully,
That's
hopefully
really
that
cool.
investment has proved true.
So I'll tell you, when we got that Lego City game on PS4, I'm also kind of like a trophy hunter on the side. And the Lego games are fun for adults to play, and the trophies are all like collectathons and they're fun to do. So there'd be times where like I wanted to play it by myself in like the evening. And if he heard the theme music come on, he would
Oh
come out
no.
and be like, I want to play. And I'm not going to be like, get out. I don't want you playing. I played with him, but like it was crazy. Like I couldn't play it by myself.
Yeah,
So
like what my wife used to be obsessed with Starbucks, and every time I would go, I'd go throughout the day, and she'd go, "Did you go to Starbucks without me?"
she could smell it on you.
I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I'm sorry, I did. I'm sorry, but it was early in the day, so it would have been bad to just get it for you."
That's awesome. Good deal. Yeah, and another thing that I really liked for the kids too was all of these like classic systems.
Mm.
Might have just lost my video, but we'll continue. I don't know. The light just went out on the camera. It was
Yeah,
originally
you're
audio
stuck in my video.
though.
Yeah.
So no, we're
Oh,
back.
there you go. You're back. There
Well,
you
for some
go.
reason closer up. Um, so yeah, one of the things that we really enjoyed was like all the classic systems. So like those Sega releases they did that you could get in like Target, of like
Mm.
a re-released Sega Genesis, and then the PS1 classic, the Nintendo classic. They're like perfect things to like put in the kids' room and let them like play. And
Oh
most of
yeah.
them don't have anything inappropriate on them. You don't really need to worry about, anything crazy being on it. So it's pretty neat.
Oh, that's good. Maybe I should. I'll start to hunt for those. I know there's getting it was pricey, but it's going back down. So hopefully
Yeah.
I can find some in the wild and get my hands on. That's not a bad idea. That's a good
Yeah,
tip.
those Sega systems are great because you can get them at like Goodwill for like $5 or $10. Because they weren't like rare like the SNES Classic or the NES Classic.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it works out pretty
Yeah.
well. So if I can't fix this video, I guess it'll just be this picture of me. All right. So, anyways, video struggles or not, we're gonna go to break real quick, and then we have a couple more great topics to go over with Joe. So we'll be right back. Welcome back, folks. This is Jay from Cold Nights, and we are back with Joe from J2daOE Gaming. Right? Did I say that right? I said it wrong.
J2daOE Gaming.
J2daOE Gaming. I knew
That's
I was
right.
going to mess that up at least once. Um, so our next topic is one of my all-time favorites, and it's hunting for games in the wild. I know that one of the cool videos you had up on your channel is you out doing a game hunt, which I love to see. Um, I'm not like the super biggest fan of like only online ordering. I really like
Mhm.
getting out there and finding stuff. To me, it just feels more special. So, what do you kind of do? Do you get to hunt a lot? Do you like going out and hitting up like pawn shops and thrift stores and stuff?
Yeah, I do all of that. I'm mostly in like my biggest scores are usually in Facebook Marketplace, if I'm honest, or OfferUp. And but hunting to me is just fun. I mean, some days, some weeks is dry. Like this weekend, I lost probably like 5 or 6 like really great game collections. And I was just like, that's part of the thrill. It's kind of like you win a little bit and you lose a lot. Um, but I'll go to pawn shops. I follow this guy. He's pretty big. It's Phoenix Resale, and he does a lot like in pawn shops, and he finds stuff for cheap. And I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't know you could do that in pawn shops. And so, usually when I'm off on Fridays and Saturdays from my job, and so that's when I'll go to like thrift stores and pawn shops, and that's really my big day to go to. There's like secondhand stores, something called Second and Charles here. I think it's like half price books in other places, but
Nice.
man, I love it. It's fun. It's frustrating, but I think that's part of the hunt. That's why they call it a hunt. I hardly ever go to eBay. Every now and then I'll do just because I'm like I just want it now, and I'll pay. I'll see what it goes for, and hopefully I can get it for like $5 less than what it's supposed to, and kind of just start from there. But man, I love it. Hopefully my son will actually this summer. So every Saturday morning, Fridays are my time to sleep in. That's when my wife takes my son to daycare, and Saturdays is her turn to sleep in. And that's when I have Juan. He usually wakes up at like 5 or 6 a.m. It's awful, but he'll wake up then. And I guess in the summer we hit up a bunch of flea markets together, just pushing him in the stroller and him running around. And that was actually really fun. So hopefully next summer, he'll be two and some change, and so hopefully he'll have more things to do there and things to hold. He always gets something when we go to the flea market, and yeah, I'll just get him like a piece of candy or some toys or something. But it's fun, and yeah, I love the hunt, man. I love the hunt. It's very fun. Very hardly though I go to actual game stores. The video you saw was in Toronto, and I was visiting my cousin, and I'm like, hey, I want to see what Toronto has to offer, essentially. And it was really cool. It was really cool to see just a bunch of stuff that I don't normally see. And yeah, anytime I go to a different location, I like to do two things. I like to try the local food, and I like to see if there's like a local game store. And I just want to see even the GameStop sometimes. I went to Vancouver. I went to a Vancouver EB Games at the time. I think they all transferred to GameStop now. But even that was weird. Like that didn't look the same, and that had like different games that people traded in. And yeah, it's just really fun to see kind of what people play depending on where they're from and where they are. So I love the hunt, man. I love the hunt.
Yeah, so like for me, it became part of our routine, like when he was like a toddler and as he got older. So cold nights, it started, I used to run an eBay store and we would resell games and toys and plushes and stuff, and it was all stuff that I would find at thrift stores or pawn shops, and then try to resell. And when I stopped reselling, we didn't stop hunting though, because we loved doing it so much. But it was like a weekly thing when I had my days off. Either my wife was working or she was sleeping in, and we would go out and hit up like Savers, Goodwill. And on Sunday mornings, up here in New Hampshire, there's a huge flea market in Hollis, and we would go and we would walk around. And just like you said, it was always cool, hitting up like the food vendors. Like there was a place in Hollis that during the summer grills all day. So you can get like freshly grilled burgers and hot dogs and steaks and stuff. And it was really fun. And some of my greatest finds were like at that flea market. Like I picked up an Atari Jaguar, like complete for $100. And
yeah,
we done so many good things like that together, and like we don't do it as much anymore, and I kind of miss it. But it's the thrill of the hunt for me. Like I literally am almost exclusively a physical collector, but also in-store collector. Like I go to GameStop once a week and spend way too much money. Like they must think I'm like a socialite or something. I'll go in there and buy anything that looks like it's going to attain some future value, anything from like NIS or Gust or things like that. And I'm always looking for like cool toys. And we don't really hit up those thrift stores anymore, but so many good memories of that. And when you did the thrift stores, you could always like grab them like a Sesame Street or like a Veggie Tales DVD.
Oh yeah.
Like it was always fun to get them. And we kind of had a route that we always went. Like we'd go look at the books and then the movies to see if there was any games mixed in. And then we'd go look at the glass case to see if they had any like consoles or peripherals. And then we'd go to the toy section and pick out something for him. So it was always fun to do, and definitely something that I think you'll have a blast with, especially as he gets older and he has, more interest in it. It's going to be really good for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait. Honestly, that's honestly the biggest reason. The only reason my wife lets me afford this is because of the thrift store stuff that I flip, and we've been able to do most of this stuff. I think 80% of this this game room here is free through the eBay store and through all of that. And then actually, if anything, it helps me be more disciplined, because sometimes the eBay store doesn't sell anything, and so I'm like, okay, I can't buy anything this week, and just it makes me wait, and then suddenly like it goes down in price the week after. I'm like, oh, score, nice. So I have that amount of money, and so it's been fun. Hopefully we can yeah, hopefully we can share in that eBay store together. And like I know he'll want his own stuff maybe someday. And I'm like, okay, here's like seed money. Let's go try to let's go to a pawn shop and see if we can make this $10 into 25 or something, and then go from there.
Maybe you can train him to do all your shipping for you and packaging.
Ah, that's right. We could change my store name to like Joe and Sons or something.
There you go. That's awesome.
Uh,
So the next thing I'm kind of curious about is what got you into YouTube? And were you a big watcher before you decided to make your videos, or did you kind of get to all of it at the same time?
oh no, I watched a ton. Like I was a huge watcher of there's Phoenix Resale, CJR, like a bunch of people who collect, and it was really a little bit out of boredom and more. I was really interested in doing it way before, like in 2020 when the pandemic started. I started wanting to do it, and then I saw how like intricate some other people made it, and like, oh man, I don't know how to edit video, and I don't know how to do any of that stuff. But then when I moved back here and I started working at a church and started working like with a team of people who edit videos, I'm like, oh, I can kind of do that. And then I saw she was on here, Emily in Orbology,
Yeah.
and she the way she does it was like she's at least at first she would just talk to the camera, and I'm like, oh, I could do that. Like that's simpler, you know. And then I could work up to it. Like now she does like she cuts scenes in and stuff like that. She's been a big help, honestly. Like you guys need to check her out. Her stuff is great, and so she's been a big help to me in helping me in how to do all that stuff, giving me tips and pointers, and yeah, it's been really fun. So hopefully the next video I'm gonna try is like doing like a little Fire Emblem review, and I'm gonna try to intersperse clips and stuff and see how that'll work. I mean, we'll see. But a lot of it, honestly, one is boredom, and two, it was kind of a creative outlet. It was a way for me to just kind of be creative and edit and really I mean I love video games, and somebody once told me, oh no, I heard somewhere that like, oh, the point of collections is to be able to share it with people, and I wanted to see if I could share that and if I could offer any tips or any kind of backgrounds, or really just get people out of some boredom, like, hey, why not? And yeah, I was very surprised that like my second video was like on a holiday buying guide, and it got like over like 1,000 or something views, and I'm like, holy crap, that's crazy. I'm like, okay, well, why not? You know, and that kind of helped motivated me a little bit, and I'm like, well, it's not really about views, but it just kind of like made me like, oh wow, this could be a like people are interested in of just watching, and yeah, it's fun for me. It's really sometimes I'm just bored of doing the regular stuff, and making videos helps, and it also helps me kind of speak better, kind of with public speaking. And so
Nice.
if anything, that was like the third thing that I wanted to learn how to do better, and the only way you do it better is if you do more of it. And talking to a camera is not easy. Like the people who do it like really, really well, like really pull you in and make you feel like they're talking to you, like those are the pros, man. And so yeah, so I was a big watcher, and finally I just decided to do it, even though I didn't know how to do everything. I just kind of wanted to jump in and see how it goes. And I've really already found, like 4 or 5 weeks in, I've really already found like a really great community. I met you, I met Emily, I met a bunch of people, and so that's been really fun.
Good deal. Yeah. If any of you didn't see, we had Emily on the show last week. She was great. Um, but yeah, you're absolutely right. She was very helpful to me in the beginning too, taught me a ton of stuff. So I'm forever thankful for that. But you're totally onto it about the community, especially when you mix it in with something like Twitter. I think Twitter and YouTube work really well together. The Twitter community has been super welcoming to me. Great interaction. YouTube, you might upload a video or two a week and then hope to see your views and your interaction. But Twitter, you can download pictures or screenshots, and throw them up there and have a great time all day. You can do that 3 or 4 times a day, or some people probably even more than that. But you can
That's
get
right.
like a constant interaction So it's a really nice side piece, and I've also found that it really helps to get your message out there about your YouTube videos as well. So I do wish
Yeah,
that everyone that would subscribe to you on Twitter subscribe to you on YouTube, but that's wishful thinking. I'd be
right.
doing a lot better myself if that was the case. But
Yeah, that's true. That's
you
true.
can't beat the community. I've probably got 5 or 6 people that I consider close friends now, and probably another 50 or 60 people that I interact with daily. And then a whole nother like 1,000 that are like periphery that I, see every once in a while, and I like to interact with their posts. So I definitely suggest really, doubling down on Twitter. It's a huge help for everything. And there's a lot of people out there that are at the same stages that we are, within that like first year of YouTube. Because I just started,
Mm.
like middle of last year myself. So it's really good to have access to larger creators that have been very helpful to me, people like Emily and like Mandy Lee. They're awesome and great, but it's also nice to have access to people that are just starting out and are kind of going through the same learning curve as you. So it's pretty
Yeah.
nice to have that interaction. So one thing we talked about before the show, and I didn't have it down as a topic, but I kind of wanted to touch on. What do you think about The Last of Us? Are you excited for the episode tonight? And
Oh
what
my
are you gonna have for
gosh.
this episode?
Yeah. Oh, man. So Last of Us is one of my favorite games of all time. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but it's probably in my top five. I really love like movie games where it's like super cinematic and
Mhm.
just it tells a really compelling story. And so I've played Last of Us quite a few times, and I didn't know how I was gonna feel about this HBO show, just because like I loved Ashley Johnson as Ellie. I love Troy Baker as as Joel. And man, I didn't know. I was like, I don't know how this is gonna work. But when I watched it, I was enthralled. Even though I knew what was cool was some of the cinematics was shot for shot the same as the game, and I'm like, oh hey, I played that, and I thought that was cool. But even though I've seen it, even though I've been it, I've been Joel, I've been Ellie, I've been the characters in there. I was still completely at the edge of my seat. HBO is a great. I gotta tell you, all the streaming services I use HBO Max the most. Like they have the best quality shows and movies and stuff, and it's been really nice. And so watching Last of Us, man, that was great. I so like spoiler alert, everybody, if you've seen it, sorry, but spoiler alert, Sarah dies in the beginning. And when the last time I played it, I didn't have a kid, and I still cried a little bit. But this time when I saw, I knew it was gonna happen, and it's about to happen. This is the tunnel, this is the hill. I'm like, it's about to happen. When she died, I was a wreck. Like all I could think about was my kid, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. And so it's definitely a different perspective now that I have my own kid. And yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to watch it. Even I just wanted to. The worst part about I tweeted this last week. But the worst part of The Last of Us for the HBO is that I couldn't binge it last week, and I couldn't just watch the whole thing. And yeah, I can't wait to kind of see how HBO continues to make this unfold.
Yeah, HBO is such a great streaming service. Absolutely. A couple of years ago, I was obsessed with like Euphoria, and they've made quite a few like
Yeah.
wonderful shows. So, me, another hot take, I had never played the game. I'm a huge horror person. I love Silent Hill, Resident Evil, Fatal Frame, all that. I just never got into that game. And I had maybe played like a half hour, 45 minutes into it. So I wasn't surprised by that death in the beginning. But it was cool after that point where I had stopped playing to actually look at people's like YouTube videos. And unfortunately, I don't remember who they were. I can't shout them out. But there was a couple different people that made videos comparing it scene for scene. And it was so fun to experience that the first time and then watch this video and see it compare them side by side to how they went and the little changes that were made. So I really enjoyed it, and I'm super excited for the one that's I think it airs in just a couple of minutes now. Um, but yeah, I'm super excited for it. I think it's a great series, and if they continue to do it right, I
Oh,
think that portends a great future for more serious, dramatic video game adaptations. Because video game movies have been hit or miss in the past, for sure.
That's very true.
But I would definitely love to see more, especially more like horror or like suspenseful or dramatic ones. I think that would be really special. So
I'm trying to think of like the best video game movie or
Mario
something, and
Brothers, John Leguizamo.
yeah, hey, it's become a classic now. I remember watching it when I was like, I don't know, 7 or 8, whenever it came out, and I'm like, what is this?
I
I was
love
like,
the
this is
Goombas swaying back and forth in the elevator.
yeah. I'm like, I think I watched it with my mom, and she was more disturbed than me. She was like, is this more Mario really is? Like,
Dennis Hopper
oh,
was
this
such
is
a great Koopa.
oh man, yeah, and I kind of love reading up on like that whole set. I heard like everybody was just kind of drunk, and everybody was just kind of like,
Yeah, that
"Oh,
was
I don't know what
miserable.
we're doing
Yeah.
here," and so it was miserable. Because some of those people were like legitimate actors. I forgot who played Mario, and I'm sorry I forgot his name, but apparently he was like, or he is like a
Bob
legitimate
Hoss.
like, yeah, he was
I
an
think he
actor, you
recently
know.
passed away, actually.
Oh man,
Yeah.
rip. Oh, he was also in Hook. That's why I recognize him. He was in
And
Hook.
Bob
He was
Hoskins
Sheen.
was, I think he was in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, too.
Yes. Oh man.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Man.
Now we're
Okay.
starting a movie podcast next week, and Joe's coming back.
Hey, let's do it. I'm in.
I love, yeah. There's been so many good ones though. But I think we're kind of getting spoiled because like the Sonic ones were pretty good, and Jim Carrey was awesome as Robotnik.
Yes.
And this new Mario
Yes.
one looks incredible.
It does. Like I'm okay. Like I tend to not pass judgment before, like, because I made the big mistake when they were like, oh, Heath Ledger, Joker. Like, come on, get out of here. He's like the heartthrob. And then I'm like, okay, I was wrong. He's great Joker. Like, I'm disturbed. Like, he was great Joker.
And
And
then
so
they put
ever
another
since
hot heartthrob, and
that's
he was
right.
wildly successful.
Yeah.
Robert
And so I'm
Pattinson
like,
was a great Batman.
yeah, like I'm gonna wait and see. I'm gonna wait. And so while I would have loved to see like Charles Marionette like have that real role, like, we'll see. Like we'll see how Chris Pratt does, and the whole cast. Like I can't wait. It is kind of, so if you go like movie times, it's kind of in a weird spot. Like it's coming out in what, March or February? Like
Yeah.
I they that's like, I wouldn't have came out there. I would have came out in like the summer or something, but who knows? So
Yeah.
that's the only thing that makes me nervous, because it's like usually when movies, at least in my head, I don't know if this is the right opinion or not, but when movies come out in like that gray area, it doesn't bode well.
Yeah.
It
Yeah. We'll
means
have to
like,
see.
oh yeah, well we'll just have to see. So
For
I can't
sure.
wait though. I got most of the Happy Meal toys.
Nice. Nice.
So, and no, they're almost done now, which I'm sad for. But it's
You got some of
yeah,
them right there?
I don't. I got them upstairs.
Oh, bummer.
I got Bowser. I got like the Star. I got Peach, and I got
Nice.
Donkey Kong. But I really wanted Mario and Luigi too. But yeah, the last time I checked, they didn't have them anymore. So sad day.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, that was really cool little discussion about movies there. We might have to add that in more in the future for sure. So
Hey,
kind of getting up against the time here. So one last thing, I'd like you to let our listeners know where they can find you on social media and your YouTube channel.
oh yes, I'm at J2daOE Gaming. It's kind of J, the I was gonna say the letter. That's not true. J, the number two, DAOE Gaming. And they're both. That's both on Twitter and on YouTube. So hope to catch you guys there.
Good deal. And guys, let me tell you, I was just recently introduced to Joe's content, and it's really good. He's down to earth. He makes real good stuff, and I definitely want you guys to check him out. I think he's got a great future, and I look forward to see what you do, Joe. So once again, thanks for coming on the show. Listeners, as always, thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, stay creepy. Maybe we'll have to do like a movie edition, dude.
Hey, we could do like games and movies and do top 5 worst and top 5 best or something. We could do
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Absolutely. I wanted to do more movie content on my channel, but like you will get struck so fast if you
Oh
show
yeah.
in like 5 seconds of a clip. Like
That makes
if you were
sense.
to put up like a 1 minute clip of Jurassic Park, you're done. Like they
Uh,
would like a van shows up outside your house. Like,